Swami Shankarananda also says this: both heaven and hell are states of consciousness. Heaven is the God consciousness of unconditional love and perfection, whereas hell is the ego consciousness of negativity and self-limitation. So that is from his satsang book, if you would like to read more about that. And what that means is my choices are determining whether I live in unconditional love and perfection, or whether I live in what he calls negativity and self-limitation. So it's up to me. And think about how powerful and creative, how beautiful and pure that makes each of us as creators of our own energy, our own experience in time and space. And again, it has beneficial effects on everyone we encounter in any way. Good morning, welcome, 1,000 welcomes. And we are meditating today. The topic is Heaven on Earth, Treasure Trove. So we're meditating part of our series, Heaven on Earth, and the topic today comes from Swami Shankarananda. So I'll just share with you his teaching. He says this in one of his talks: everything is sacred. The world is permeated by that divine reality, that indwelling self. Within us is the source of that which we are. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Don't we each then have access to experience heaven on earth? Whatever we bring forth from the treasure trove of our inner being, that vastness of our being that is pure consciousness, bliss, joy, freedom, that is what transforms our perception of our life, our world. And so for each of us, the joyful and glorious invitation for right now, and then also ongoingly, is how may I open and allow this treasure trove of my inner being, the vastness of my being, that is pure consciousness, bliss, joy, and freedom, how may I allow that to infuse me so fully, not only in energy, but also in terms of the thoughts that I allow to think through me, the words that I allow to speak through me, the choices that I allow to be made through me, that my life becomes a living experience of heaven on earth. And so Swami Shankarananda says this is possible, and it's not only possible if you're wearing orange. So it's possible if you choose to practice self-mastery. And so it's possible if I choose, by grace, to practice self-mastery of my thoughts, by grace to practice self-mastery of my feelings, by grace to practice self-mastery over the things that I am choosing. And so for each of us then, this is a moment-to-moment decision that by grace I choose to think thoughts that allow heaven on earth to be born in me. By grace I choose words and actions that allow heaven on earth to be born in me. And there's a natural way in which that is not only born in me, in my consciousness and energy, but then everyone I interact with, so my family, my friends, my neighbors, my community, anyone that I encounter in any way. It could be, I was in line at the post office a couple of weeks ago. Everyone was sharing unconditional love in a way that's pure and natural and appropriate to share with people you've never met at the post office. But it was an unbelievable love fest. The whole post office was just full of this love. And we were waiting in line. And the post office wasn't open. And it was supposed to be open. And there was just love. And so this is what happens if there's one person who's in that energy of, I'm living in heaven on earth, even though this door is closed right now, I know this door will open at the optimal time. And it did. It did open. We got the blessing of allowing ourselves to enjoy this love fest, and then the door opened. And so if you have that feeling of, in your own life, like you're in the vestibule and you're waiting for the door to open, stay in that energy of love. The door will absolutely open at the right time, and it doesn't require force. It requires that openness to love. So Swami Shankarananda also says this: both heaven and hell are states of consciousness. Heaven is the God consciousness of unconditional love and perfection, whereas hell is the ego consciousness of negativity and self-limitation. So that is from his satsang book, if you would like to read more about that. And what that means is my choices are determining whether I live in unconditional love and perfection, or whether I live in what he calls negativity and self-limitation. So it's up to me. And think about how powerful and creative, how beautiful and pure that makes each of us as creators of our own energy, our own experience in time and space. And again, it has beneficial effects on everyone we encounter in any way. So I'm going to start to share a couple of passages. One of those comes from the book of Revelation, chapter 21. And if you've heard it before, I invite you to hear, as if you are hearing from the first time. The next passage comes from the Chandogya Upanishad, and the description of a new heaven, a new Jerusalem in the book of Revelation uses words that are very, very similar to the description of the city of Brahman, the city of light in the Upanishad. So it's different traditions, and yet they're naming a reality that it's possible to live in a city of light. And in the city of light, it is possible that all tears will be wiped away. There will be no mourning, no death, no crying, no pain. And so we're inviting ourselves to move beyond identifying with those experiences, which come to every human. And so to know that there's nothing wrong with you if you have felt, if you have known the tears, the death, the mourning, the crying, the pain, there's nothing wrong with you. These teachings tell us that it is possible to live in the city of light, in the new heaven, now. It is possible to so transform our consciousness that now, while in a human body, we are able to live in the city of light. And so the passage from Revelation, then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down from out of heaven from God. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "Look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things has passed away." And so for each of us to honor and acknowledge if our human experience has included or does include tears or death or mourning or crying or pain, there's nothing wrong with us, and we can allow our tears to be wiped away. We can allow ourselves to live in a city of light. We can allow ourselves to live in a new heaven and a new earth. And it happens by grace. It happens through our participation, through our practice, through our cooperation and our allowing. But it happens because divine love and wisdom are far vaster than anything the human mind or heart can comprehend or anticipate or encompass. And so it also is always this, I'm opening, I'm allowing the divine to expand what I know to be possible. And I'll just share with you a really funny, charming, wise comment that I came across this week about that particular passage, where in the book of Revelation it says there will be a new heaven. Howard Thurman says that he found himself reading the book of Revelation at 3 a.m. And he says he read that, and he says, oh my gosh, that means God is expanding because heaven is where God is. And so that means God is getting bigger. And what does that mean for me? He says of himself, I knew where to sit in the old heaven. Where am I going to sit in the new heaven? And so I absolutely love this comment because he's letting us know, as we stay with opening to love the divine, as we stay with opening to live in a new heaven and a new earth, we will continue expanding. It's never going to stop. So we get to let go of our old concepts. And that's my way of understanding what he means when he says, I knew where to sit in the old heaven. And so the new heaven is new territory, which means we will be learning new things. We will be learning new ways of being. And it doesn't stop. And so we're here for it. Like, we're here for this adventure. We're here to expand the ways in which we allow light to share with and through and as us, to be of service. And so in the Chandogya Upanishad, very similar language about the city of Brahman. Though old age comes to the body, the lotus of the heart does not grow old. At death of the body, it does not die. The lotus of the heart, where Brahman exists in all his glory, that is the true city of Brahman. Brahman, dwelling there, is untouched by any deed. ageless, deathless, free from grief, free from hunger and from thirst. Brahman's desires are right desires, and those desires are fulfilled. The self within the heart is like a boundary which divides the world from that. Day and night cross not that boundary, nor old age, nor death. One who has crossed that boundary and has realized the self, if blind, ceases to be blind. If wounded, ceases to be wounded. If afflicted, ceases to be afflicted. When that boundary is crossed, night becomes day, for the world of Brahman is light itself. And so for every one of us, what the Upanishad teaching says is that the city of Brahman, where light itself dwells, it's in the heart. And so if you like, it's a really wonderful way to connect with your heart, to place your own hands on your heart, and to just invite yourself to feel that the lotus of the heart, in the lotus of the heart, there is light itself. And this is light. I'm starting to share some observations from Lahiri, one of the teachers in this line of teachers. He says, this is light that you see without the physical eyes. And so you're inviting yourself, if it helps, you're welcome to close your eyes, but you're inviting yourself to see without physical eyes the light that is in your own heart. And Lahiri says that this light is the light of direct realization. This is the light that goes beyond human knowledge. It goes beyond human ignorance. It is direct realization of divine energy. And to open and allow yourself to feel within your own heart this direct realization of divine energy. It's present, it's possible, it's pure, it's palpable, it's available to each one of us. And this is our true nature. So you're welcome to keep your eyes closed. And I'm starting to share a few stories. You're welcome to keep your hands on your heart if you like to. These are true stories that crossed my path this week, not people in the meditation community. So you don't need to look around wondering if I'm talking about anyone here. But one story was a family that has a 3-year-old, and the family also just welcomed a little 1-month-old. And so the 3-year-old is adapting and adjusting and expanding her heart in order to make room for this 1-month-old. And one of the things that her parents are teaching her is, I am loved. And so they're teaching her, I am loved, and they hear her saying, and sometimes they hear her saying softly, I am loved. And then sometimes they hear her singing, I am loved. I'm not going to try to sing, but later you should. You should go home and sing, I am loved. And then they said sometimes they hear her very loudly, and she's almost like shouting, I am loved. And so to allow yourself to feel just the joy of, she's not only taking those words, but she's internalizing, how does it feel to feel loved? That's what heaven on earth is. To allow yourself to feel loved while in a human body. And we just heard, like for that particular 3-year-old, that's how she's learning how to expand her heart, expand her love, and feel loved while in a human body. And to allow it to be not just words, not just on your lips, but to allow yourself to feel in your body and to feel in your heart, I am loved. And to know that this is true. And now I'm going to share some of the other true stories, which could make me sob if I allowed them to make me sob. Welcome. I'm Swami Nityananda. If you are enjoying this talk, we invite you to like, share, and subscribe. We also invite you to subscribe to our free newsletter on Substack, available at the link below this video. Thank you for being the joy that you are. But I also heard about a 29-year-old who has a recurring health condition, and his family knows intellectually that the recurring health condition means that it is likely that he will have occasion to leave the body. He's only 29, and he's in a nursing home. And for him, it's the same. I am loved. Even in this condition, even with what I am feeling in my body, even with the questions that I have in my mind and in my heart, even though I'm 29 and in a nursing home, to allow myself to feel, I am loved. And the person who told me this story, she was talking about the 29-year-old, it's one of her relatives, and she said, I can't stop hoping. She said, I know intellectually what this condition likely means. And she said, I can't stop hoping. And she said she realized she had been writing his mom cards, and she hadn't been writing him cards. And so she said, okay, well, that's the thing I can do. I can write him cards. And she was like, what do I say? And she said, the only thing I could think to say was, I love you. And so it really is like whether you're 3 years old or you're 29 years old or however, you're 99 years old, it really is, I am loved. Whatever it is that you are moving through. So that person who has the 29-year-old relative has a friend whose child left the body at age 26. And she asked that friend, when did you stop hoping? And the mom said, the day my child left the body. That was when I stopped hoping. And so for every one of us to give ourselves the gift of that hope, no matter what the conditions are externally, to allow ourselves to live in the energy of that hope. Hope is the substance of all forms. So if you take it all the way back to the mantra that we started with, the Gayatri, that energy of radiance is the substance of all forms. That energy of universal kindness and universal unconditional love, that is the substance of all forms. And this can be deeply challenging. I'm not saying that this is easy. I'm not saying this glibly. I'm not saying this blithely. From a human perspective, this is deeply challenging. But it's the truth that in that 3-year-old, happy, healthy, singing child who's singing, I am loved, divine love is fully present in that child. In that 29-year-old in the nursing home, divine love is fully present no matter what is happening in the body of that beautiful being of light. Divine love is fully present. In the 26-year-old who left the physical, from a human perspective, it's never comprehensible. It's never something that you would choose. And divine love is still fully present. And for each of us to allow ourselves to go within the heart, and so to allow yourself to go within the lotus of the heart and to feel within the lotus of the heart, I am loved. Light itself is here. And this energy of heaven on earth is here. It is the energy of pure potentiality. It is pure life energy. It is the energy of hope. It is the energy of trust. It is the energy of faith. It is the substance of all forms. And for each of us, we are opening and we are presenting ourselves to this energy that is the substance of all forms. And we are saying, I am here. I choose this life. I choose this embodiment. I choose this heart. I choose this mind. I choose to be here. And I choose to open and invite all the love, all the light, all the wisdom, all the kindness, all the joy in the universe to be with me. And also then to share through me in ways that that light is only capable of sharing through me. If you can, allow yourself to expand your vision. And so this is what Lahiri is talking about a little. He says, you see the light, but it's not with physical eyes. When you see the light and it's not with physical eyes, you see directly the divine has become all of this. The divine has become the whole manifested universe. The divine dwells in the hearts of all beings. The divine is the ideal of expression and everything that we can possibly share. And so from a human perspective, if we can let go of judging, like if we can say, for example, if you have a 99-year-old friend who's celebrating their birthday, amazing, beautiful, magnificent to celebrate your 99-year-old friend's birthday, amazing. And to know that there is a fullness of life, there is a fullness of love, there is a fullness of joy that is present in that 99-year-old friend. But also, it's not less in the 29-year-old who's in the nursing home. If you can let go of looking at it with the human eyes, and you can look at it with the eyes that see light, but it's not the physical eyes, there's no less fullness of love in the 29-year-old. And there's no less fullness of light. There's no less fullness of kindness. And what happens then is we're able to live in a way that allows us to see with human eyes. You still see the tears. You might be expressing some of the tears from a human self. And you're also in contact with the source of all light, always. Fully aware that the source of all light has become all of this. You're in contact with the source of all love, fully aware that the source of all love has become all of this. Can you feel how big your heart is right now? Your heart is holding the whole world right now. And that's your true heart. That is your spiritual heart. That is your heart that has room and recognizes that every human on the planet, they're my kin, they're my family. The ones I find easy to get along with humanly, the ones I don't find easy to get along with humanly. I see people nodding and smiling, shaking their head. They're all my family because they're all expressions of this one light. They're all expressions of this one love. And so notice what happens as well when we have that heart that is holding the whole world, that is holding all of the humans, recognizing they're all my kin. We then become able to be with humans who are laughing, the 3-year-old who is singing, but we're also able to be with the 29-year-old if the 29-year-old is not laughing, if the 29-year-old is not singing. And so then we become the energy of light embodied in time and space. We become the energy of pure love embodied in time and space. We become the energy of heaven on earth. And it's right in our daily lives. It's just right where we are. And we're simply opening and continuing to expand, remembering that we might have known where to sit in the old heaven, but the new heaven is here. And so the divine is expanding. We are never going to stop expanding. And so we're continually open for this divine adventure, continually open to opening our hearts, allowing ourselves to feel what we feel on a human level, and knowing that deeper than that is the light that becomes all of this, that we don't see with physical eyes, but we see it by grace. And that light is the light that allows each of us to practice self-mastery, to practice self-transformation, to choose our thoughts, to choose our feelings, to choose our words, to choose our actions, so that increasingly we become established in that energy of living heaven on earth. Thank God, and God bless us all.